You ever get the feeling you knew something before you knew it? Like your gut opened an email your brain hadn't read yet? That's how I felt the night of the Masquerade party. Now, let me be clear, I didn't want to go. I'm not a costume guy. I don't do velvet capes or mystery-themed hors d'oeuvres. But my wife, Camille? Oh, she lived for this kind of theater. Said it would be magical. Said we needed a night to escape. Said a lot of things, now that I think about it. The theme was midnight in Venice. So I rented a tux, slapped on a mask, and played the part of the supportive husband. I even let her tie my bow tie 3 times while she smiled too wide and said, "You're always too tight around the neck." In hindsight, a lot of things were. The ballroom was dripping in candlelight and secrets. Everybody looked beautiful. Nobody looked honest. Camille wore a crimson gown that turned heads like she was trying to catch whiplash. Her mask had gold trim, feathers, and just enough sparkle to say, "Don't ask questions." I couldn't stop looking at her, but not in the way she probably wanted. Something about the way she moved didn't sit right. She was glowing. Not in the happy to be here with my husband way, but in the already lit up by someone else's attention way. I chalked it up to the wine, or the music, or maybe the fact that my gut had been whispering something's off for the last 3 months. I left her at the bar while I went to grab us drinks. 2 minutes later, I turned back around, and she was gone. I searched the dance floor. Nothing. Checked the courtyard. Empty. Eventually, I found her laughing. Her mask was still on, but her guard was off. She was pressed up against a man in a black tux and a silver mask, tucked away behind the velvet curtain near the side corridor. I couldn't see his face, but I saw her hand on his chest. I saw his hand on the small of her back. And I saw the way she looked up at him, like he held a secret she never wanted me to know. They didn't kiss. Not while I was watching. But I didn't need them to. I knew. The moment froze. Like a photo. Like something you try to forget and keep failing. I backed away before they saw me, carrying 2 flutes of champagne and a brand new understanding of the woman I married. I didn't confront her. Not that night. I waited. I played dumb. Nodded when she said she lost track of me. Smiled when she kissed me goodnight, still wearing that damn mask like it hadn't already slipped. She never took it off. But the thing about masks? They always fall. The next morning, Camille hummed while frying eggs. She never hummed. Not unless something went very right, or very wrong. She wore my old college sweatshirt, bare legs, bedhead like a shampoo commercial. She played it perfectly, just enough affection to keep the illusion alive, but not enough to make me believe it. "Did you have fun last night?" she asked, sliding a plate in front of me like we were still 2 people on the same side of a secret. "Yeah," I said, taking a bite. "Love the masks." She didn't flinch. "It was romantic, don't you think?" Romantic. That's what she called it. I smiled. The kind of smile you give when you're already taking mental notes, documenting timestamps, analyzing footprints in the digital snow. Because while Camille was busy thinking she'd pulled off the perfect crime in feathers and sequins, I was already halfway through an audit of our life. And I started with her phone. No, I'm not a hacker. I'm just a husband with 2 things, too much time, and too many reasons. She'd left it charging in the kitchen. A small trust fall I never asked her to make. No lock screen. Not because she trusted me. Because she underestimated me. And that, my friend, is where she lost the game. I didn't go digging through photos or texts. That's where amateurs start. I checked the calendar. Friday night, Swan mask fitting, for p.m. Hotel pickup, 5:30. Hotel? I clicked the address. Boutique place downtown. Rooftop bar. Private suites. The kind of place you take someone you don't plan on being seen with. Now, I don't believe in coincidences. And I especially don't believe in your wife renting a room before a party she claimed to be too tired to stay long at. But hey, maybe she was planning a surprise for me. A spontaneous night of romance. Maybe the mysterious masked man was me in a past life. Sure. And maybe pigs book spa weekends and travel in pairs. I didn't say anything that morning. I kissed her on the forehead, said, "Love you," and headed to work. But I didn't go to work. I went to that hotel. Reservation under Camille Holloway? I asked the front desk, calm like I was booking a conference room. The clerk smiled too wide. "Oh yes." She checked in around 5:30 Friday evening. "Was that reservation for 2?" I asked. He hesitated. That half-second told me everything. "I'm her husband," I added flatly. "Just curious if she left a scarf. Black silk. Sentimental." He checked. Nothing turned in. Of course not. She hadn't lost anything. Not physically. I had. That night I stared at the ceiling fan spinning above our bed, listening to her breathe beside me, her hand casually draped across my chest like a bookmark in a story she wasn't reading anymore. And that's when the realization hit me. I wasn't heartbroken. I was insulted. She didn't just betray me. She assumed I'd never figure it out. And that was her real mistake. By Wednesday, I had a name. Not because she told me. Camille wouldn't have confessed if I'd caught them in the act with the hotel bed still warm. No, I got it the old-fashioned way, by noticing. She started texting more, laughing more, at her phone. You ever watch someone pretend a conversation's not exciting while their whole face lights up like Times Square? Subtle tells. Body language. It's all there if you're willing to shut up and pay attention. Her phone buzzed. I saw the notification flash before she tilted the screen away. C. Thorne. Now, that name rang a bell. Not loudly, not at first. Just a soft chime in the back of my mind. I scrolled through her Instagram that night while she slept beside me like a guiltless statue. There he was, third row down, group shot from last year's charity gala, Camille, in a navy dress, arm-linked with a tall guy in a charcoal suit, captioned, "One of the best nights with my favorite people, Blue Heart # Masquerade Madness." Christopher Thorne. Finance guy. Clean haircut. Eyes like a man who believes compliments are currency. You know the type. I tapped his profile. Private. Of course. But his profile picture was the same tux and silver mask combo I saw that night behind the curtain. I zoomed in, tiny, but clear. Same lapel pin. Silver wolf head. Must have meant something to him. Probably made him feel dangerous. Cute. Thursday morning, Camille mentioned she'd be working late. The quarterly meetings are killing me, she sighed dramatically, pouring coffee with the grace of someone who truly believed she was still pulling this off. That the one with your marketing team? I asked, flipping through the paper. Yeah, you know how they are. I nodded. Tell Chris I said hi. The cup froze mid-pour. Just a twitch. She recovered quick. Chris. Thorne. Saw his name pop up the other day. Thought he was on the project. Now she smiled, nervous, tight. Oh, yeah. I mean, sort of. He's consulting with the client's side, I think. That's when I knew she'd sleepwalked into her first lie. I didn't flinch. Just kissed her cheek and went on with my day. Except my day didn't include spreadsheets. It included a call to my cousin Trey, who works in IT security and owes me 3 favors, one for bailing him out of a bar fight, one for fixing his brakes, and one for never telling his mom about the tattoo she still doesn't know he has. Trey's specialty? Digital footprints. Need you to run a trace on this guy, I told him. No drama. Just discreet. Romantic drama or restraining order drama? Masquerade party. Silver mask. I'll let you decide. He laughed. Send me what you've got. By that evening, I had Christopher Thorne's LinkedIn, corporate calendar, condo address, gym schedule, and the fact that he's very particular about when he gets his suits dry cleaned. And now? Now I had a plan. Because while Camille thought she was weaving some epic forbidden romance, what she actually built was a very convenient schedule I could rap about around. Friday, 7:15 p.m. Dinner reservation. Table for 2. His name on the reservation. Percent in his passenger seat. And me? I'd be there too. Just not where she expected. Friday night came dressed like a cliché, rain on the windshield, streetlights smearing through it like watercolors. The kind of night that makes people nostalgic or stupid. Camille, it turns out, leaned hard into the second one. She told me she had a networking dinner downtown. I nodded like a man built entirely of shrugs. Don't wait up, she added, smoothing her coat. Wouldn't dream of it, I said, helping her with the collar. She smiled fake sweet, the kind of sugar that makes your teeth hurt, and walked out the door smelling like intention. Now, I wasn't following her. Let's be clear about that. Following someone implies you're behind them. I was already ahead. At 6:50 p.m., I was parked across the street from Bellamy's, a high-end place with more stemware than chairs. Trey had pulled the reservation, table 14, under C. Thorne, for 2. 7:15 sharp. I sat in my car, engine off, watching. I wasn't nervous. I'd already played this out in my head like a chess match, 6 moves deep. At 7:12, she arrived. Alone. Umbrella up, coat cinched, heels clicking like she was walking toward a story she'd tell her friends badly one day. She didn't see me. She never really did. At 7:14, a sleek black sedan pulled up. Out stepped Mr. Silver Mask himself. Christopher Thorne. Even his posture was smug. That's a talent. You have to practice that in mirrors. He greeted her with a hand on the small of her back. The kind of touch that says, we've done this before. She didn't flinch. just leaned in and smiled like someone handing over a secret. They went inside. I waited. Now, most people would say this is the moment to storm in. Flip a table, drop a ring in a glass of water, and say something unforgettable. Not me. I believe in longer games. I believe in leverage. And tonight wasn't about confrontation. It was about control. At 7:20, I walked into Bellamy's from the back entrance. I'd called in a favor with the head waiter, another old college buddy who now ran security and lighting for private events. Told him I was planning something theatrical. I paid cash. Slipped him an extra 100 to delay dessert by exactly 12 minutes. And that's all I needed. See, Camille had no idea I'd hired a photographer that week. Discreet. Professional. The kind of guy who could shoot through a wine glass and still catch betrayal in high definition. He was already inside, playing the role of a solo diner with an expensive camera, just in from Paris. I took a seat at the bar, ordered a club soda, and waited until the moment the photographer texted me. 8:06 p.m. They're leaning in close. Her hand on his. Camera loves it. Perfect. I slipped out before she could even smell suspicion in the air. Back in the car, I opened the tracking app on my phone. Earlier that day, I'd installed a tiny Apple AirTag into the lining of her purse. Camille never noticed. She was too busy choosing lipstick. The little blue dot told me exactly where she was heading next. Not home. Not work. Not to see a friend in need or a coworker in crisis. Straight to the Vivian Hotel, 6 blocks away. A boutique spot with overpriced wine and very forgiving mood lighting. Check-in time? 8:43. I didn't follow. Again, I was already ahead. Back home, I opened my laptop and pulled up the shared folder Trey had helped me set up. A synced cloud drive connected to her phone's screenshots, gallery, location history, and messages. All set to back up quietly every night. And oh, look at that. There it was. 8:58 p.m. A photo Camille took in the hotel mirror. Him behind her, blurred but unmistakable. Her caption was a single heart emoji. She didn't even try to hide it in some work files folder. Just dumped it right in with her selfies and brunch shots. For a woman who wore a mask so well, she was surprisingly sloppy once it came off. I saved the photo. I saved everything. Not because I wanted to use it. Not yet. But because you can't build a trap with half the blueprints. At 10:30 p.m., she came home. Hair tousled. Lipstick faded. Late night, I said, looking up from the couch. She smiled like nothing happened. Yeah, dinner went long. Did it? She nodded. Took off her heels. Her face was unreadable, but her hand shook slightly when she poured her wine. Then she sat next to me, all casual, all normal. Like she was still the woman I married and not the tourist in someone else's life. I'm beat, she said. Long meetings will do that to you. She glanced over, waiting. For a fight. For a slip. For something to prove I knew. But I gave her none of it. She thought she was in control. Let her keep thinking it. Control is a funny thing. It's not about who yells loudest or who walks away first. It's about who knows the ending and decides not to spoil it yet. And me? I already knew how this story would close. But the best part? Camille didn't even know we'd started the final chapter. There's a saying, give someone enough rope, and they'll hang themselves. I prefer to think of it as, give them enough rope, and they'll start crocheting a noose with your name on it. Either way, Camille was knitting like a woman possessed. The day after the hotel, she woke up humming. The same person who used to groan at the alarm like it owed her money was suddenly walking around in silk pajamas, floating through the house like a backup dancer in a shampoo commercial. I sat at the kitchen table, sipping black coffee, watching her move with a confidence she hadn't worn in years. She made herself a smoothie, spun in front of the mirror, kissed me on the cheek like someone cosplaying as a wife. Then she said it. I feel like myself again. I just nodded. You look different too. She didn't ask what I meant. Of course she didn't. Because in her head, she wasn't doing anything wrong. She was just reclaiming her joy or whatever word salad she'd probably share on social media next week alongside a picture of the ocean and a misattributed Rumi quote. Let me say this now. I wasn't sad anymore. I had been. For about 15 minutes. No? I was just taking notes. At 9:03 a.m., she left for work. At 9:04 a.m., I got to work. Step 1. The transfer. See, what Camille didn't know was that every password she ever forgot and asked me to reset. I remembered. Her email. Her iCloud. Her Google Drive. All still synced to my devices under the folder name she never once clicked. Finances, tax stuff. The first thing I did was download every message between her and Mr. Silver Mask. Hundreds of them. Most were harmless, flirty, teasing, like middle schoolers with driver's licenses and poor judgment. But a few were gold. You make me feel dangerous again, she wrote. I'm tired of being someone's home when I want to be someone's hurricane. He doesn't know. He never will. Oh, Camille. Yes, he does. And yes, he will. Step 2. The paper trail. I made copies, dozens of them. Printed, watermarked, sealed. One sent to AP, box. One to a safety deposit box. One mailed to my lawyer with a handwritten note. If anything happens to me, start here. Because I wasn't just building a case. I was building options. Divorce, exposure, a quiet disappearance, choose your own adventure. But only one of us was holding the pen. Step 3. The gift. This part? It was just for me. I waited until she left for her weekly yoga and wine night. Yeah, that's a thing now. She'd be gone until 9 o'clock. Home by 9:15. Showered by 9:30. Asleep by 10. Routine. Clean. Predictable. Like betrayal in a dress. I pulled out the small black box I'd picked up earlier that day. Inside? A necklace. Nothing extravagant. Silver chain. Simple heart pendant. Not engraved. No initials. Just elegant. I placed it on her nightstand beside a folded note. To the woman I fell in love with. May she rest in peace. Then I left the envelope under her pillow, the one labeled Simply Read Me, and walked out the door. I didn't go far. Just to a friend's guest house a few miles out. Enough distance to make the silence feel intentional. And I waited. At 10:41 p.m., the first text came in. Camille. Where are you? Did you leave? What is this? Call me. Please call me. The funny thing about guilt, it rushes in only when the room goes quiet. She called 5 times. I didn't answer. Instead, I sent one message, a single photo. Camille and Christopher, holding hands outside the Vivian Hotel. His jacket. Her eyes. That lazy smile of someone who forgot their wedding vows somewhere in a coat pocket. No caption. No threat. Just clarity. 2 minutes later. I can explain. Of course she could. They always can, after the curtain drops. She sent another message. Longer this time. It didn't mean anything. I was confused. I've been feeling lost. You haven't noticed me in months. I didn't plan it. It just happened. Ah, yes. The holy trinity of adulterous excuses. It didn't mean anything. I was confused, and it just happened. I didn't respond. Because that night wasn't about her anymore. It was about me. For the first time in months, I slept well. No white noise of suspicion. No pretending not to notice the way her scent changed after certain meetings. Just the silence of a man who'd finally stopped chasing the lie and started watching it unravel. And here's the thing she still didn't get. I wasn't angry. Anger is loud, messy, temporary. What I felt was colder, quieter, permanent. I was past the storm. I was the forecast. Camille thought the silence was mercy. She mistook my stillness for forgiveness, the same way you mistake a sniper lying flat in the grass for someone taking a nap. She didn't know I'd already changed the locks. Didn't know I'd taken her name off the utilities, the joint account, the streaming services, which, honestly, felt the most personal. She didn't know I'd met with a lawyer 3 days earlier, one of those quiet types with expensive watches and no family photos on his desk. The kind of guy who files clean paperwork and knows how to bury bodies in clauses. We talked for exactly 46 minutes. He took notes while I slid the evidence across the table in a flash drive shaped like a wedding ring. At the end of the meeting, he said, "You want scorched earth or surgical strike?" I said, "Let's do both." In that order. Camille texted again the next morning. "I want to talk. I messed up, but I'm still your wife." I finally responded, "Me. You're right. You were my wife." She showed up that evening, hair down, soft voice, holding the necklace I left her like it was a confession she hadn't finished reading. "Can we just talk?" she asked. "Like actual human beings?" "Of course," I said. "This is your exit interview." She blinked. "My what?" "You've been auditioning for a new role," I said, standing calmly, "but I figured I'd give you a chance to review your performance." Her jaw tightened. "This isn't funny." "No, Camille. It's honest. Something you should try." She sat, slowly, like someone realizing the stage had been pulled out from under her. "I didn't sleep with him," she offered, hoping I'd still buy that brand of clearance sale morality. I nodded. Thanks for that. But you left the receipts. I slid the printed hotel confirmation across the table, topped with a time-stamped screenshot. And the photo. The one with her smiling at him the way she used to smile at me when we still danced barefoot in the kitchen to songs we pretended to hate. I didn't know how to fix us, she whispered. I smiled. That's the first honest thing you've said. I didn't throw her out. That's not how this works. I let her stay. For 3 more days. Just long enough for the silence to swell and wrap around her throat like smoke. Just long enough for her to start wondering if I was going to forgive her. Just long enough for her to get comfortable again. And then I served the papers over breakfast. I didn't hire a courier. Didn't send an email. I handed her the envelope while the kettle was boiling and said, "You're officially free, Camille." Which is what you wanted, right? She didn't answer. She just stared at the pages like they were in a language she used to speak, but forgot the moment someone else whispered sweet nothings in her ear. Her hand shook when she reached for the pen, and I knew she wasn't crying because she loved me. She was crying because she realized the parachute was a backpack. I hosted a small dinner party the following week. Just 6 friends. Some ribs, bourbon, and laughter that didn't sound like a cover-up. They asked how I was doing. I said, I feel 10 pounds lighter. You lost weight? Someone joked. Nope, I smiled. I lost a liar. We toasted. Someone asked if I missed her. I said, sometimes. But then I remember the hotel. The lies. The mask. And then I added, the best part about being lied to is realizing you're no longer obligated to believe any of it. Christopher Thorne got fired. Not immediately. That would have been obvious. But 2 weeks after I mailed an unmarked envelope to his firm's HR department containing photos, messages, and a very polite note. A key client may be unaware their account manager is pursuing extracurricular activities with a married woman whose husband also happens to be an investor. I wasn't an investor, but I had a buddy who was. You'd be amazed what a fake email chain and a few screenshots can stir up when reputations are on the line. Camille tried to reach out again. Left me a voicemail. Her voice was small. Not sad. Just quiet. Like she'd finally run out of pages in her script. I don't even know who I am without you, she said. And I stood there in my living room, hearing that sentence echo off walls I'd painted, floors I'd cleaned, memories I'd burned. And I laughed. Not bitter. Not cruel. Just free. Because I finally understood. The best revenge isn't fire. It isn't screaming. It isn't even replacing her with someone prettier. The best revenge is becoming someone she can't touch, and someone she never truly knew.